I want you to tell us about somebody who you were close to that died, how they died, and how that made you feel.
When I was a teenager, my parents took me on a trip on a cruise, and I met this boy named Jack, and he and I fell in love. But then our ship, it hit an iceberg, and we sank. And Jack saved me, but he got hypothermia in the water. It was really cold, and then he drowned. But I know my heart will go on and on, near or far, wherever you are, Jack.
I have to talk about my mother. We had gone to the forest, and I had just met what was to be my first and only love. And a man came, and there were gunshots, and my mother, we all ran away, and my mother didn't make it. And then I thought for sure that they'd be able to figure out who had done it. But there was a giant fire, and she died in that fire. And so it really hurt, and it made me realize that man is evil.
Well, I had always kind of been obsessed with death. As a child, I lost my mom pretty early on. I didn't know her. And my dad, well, he was an undertaker, and our house was a funeral parlor, so death was just a part of everything for me. But when I was about 11, my best friend, who stood by me through anything, Thomas J., he was out in the woods, and he got stung by bees, and he was allergic, and that was all. And that was just transformative for me in thinking life, death, you know.
A couple of years ago, my family and I were on a road trip. We were going across the country to visit this amusement park. But when we got about 2/3 of the way, we had to stop at some family's house, and we ended up having to pick up Aunt Edna and her dog Dinky, because we had to drop them off at Aunt Edna's son's Normie's house, cousin Normie's house. Anyway, we were all looking at the Grand Canyon, my brother Rusty, my mom, and I. And Aunt Edna stayed in the car because she was just being a grouch. But when we got back in the car, it turns out Aunt Edna had died. And we didn't know what to do, and it was really traumatic. And my dad decided to strap Aunt Edna up on the hood of the car, because we didn't want to sit next to her. Thank you very much. So anyway, we finally got to Aunt Normie's house, cousin Normie's house, and put Aunt Edna on the front lawn, said a couple of prayers, and then got the hell out of there because we didn't want to get caught, and we had to go to the amusement park.
Thank you all for sharing your stories.